going to another part of the world now. We're going to Asia. I have to say, truthfully, I left my heart in Asia when I visited there. But we're going to talk about the Good Shepherd Asia-Pacific Partnership. And we are going to talk to two people who were very involved in it, who are very involved in it. They were at the gathering in Kuala Lumpur, and they can tell us about the subsequent developments in the region and the development of a regional structure for partnerships in Asia-Pacific. Sister Susan and Sister Pamela, thank you very much for giving us time this morning on your busy schedules. Now we're here to listen to what's happening in Asia-Pacific.
Ken, do you know it's almost 10 years when we got together to plan the development of Good Shepherd Partnership in Asia-Pacific?
Susan, it feels like a lifetime. No. Yes, it is. I remember the meeting of the Asia-Pacific Circle. That's the province leaders of Asia. And Susan and I, we were province leaders then. And we were at the meeting held in Malaysia in 2006. Now this was 3 years after the congregational statement on partnership. And I have to say, partnership wasn't exactly top of the agenda for the APC for that meeting. You and I were province leaders and we volunteered to do something to get Partnership for Mission going. The other members of the APC said, sort of, go ahead. And we said we would provide some initial funds and the personnel for a planning group.
Then we sat down with Ann Dalton, and there was one question, the big question: what do we do now? Do you remember how we were determined that there must be equal numbers of sisters and lay mission partners? Our culture in Asia during then was about religious life and sisters. And I remembered it was calling the lay partners equal numbers with the sisters and learning to think together, learning to plan with a bigger picture. Why are we coming together?
So we decided to plan a partnership gathering. And the plan was that this gathering would model, it would show partnership in every aspect. So the people invited to form the planning committee from our two provinces were 8 people, 4 sisters and 4 lay. And the Good Shepherd Asia-Pacific Partnership team was born. The 9 provinces, as they were then, of Asia-Pacific were invited to send an equal number of sisters and lay mission partners to the gathering held in Malaysia in 2008. And this was really important too. 6 of the 9 province leaders actually came to that gathering.
And it was after a few planning, we came up with the theme. And this is the theme: our experience of partnership draws us together. The strength of our partnership propels us out for mission.
The keynote speakers at that gathering were Michael Yaw from Australia. He had been to the previous congregational chapter, and he spoke on St Mary Euphrasia and the power of the shared commitment to the Good Shepherd mission. And you, Susan, spoke on a very important part, the basic change that's required, the change from the sisters being at the centre to the mission being at the centre. At that gathering there were 72 participants, 30 sisters and 42 lay people. Together we told stories, we discussed, we dreamed, we planned, And at the end, everyone came away saying it was the most energetic gathering we had ever attended. It transformed us, and it created an urge to build new pathways for leadership.
It was a very difficult challenge for me then when I was the province leader. It was very difficult to change on that journey from sisters being at the center to mission. Teresa Simon was newly appointed to be the executive director of the ministry. And it was all the nuns looking at her as to what she should do and what she's not allowed to do, because we sisters are the owner of the mission. And my role as a province leader was to journey with her, to move into the center. One story which I will never forget. I had to go for a legal meeting, and she had to go for a ministry actually with me to kind of develop the mission broader, and I couldn't go. And she was obviously nervous about the nuns. And you know what we both decided? That she will carry her handphone to the toilet and in her pocket. And if she doesn't know the right answer, she will say, "Excuse me," and go to the toilet. And we will have a conversation. Of course, it never happened, but that was our starting point.
So at the Asia Pacific ICA in 2008 in Thailand, Partnership for Mission was endorsed as a priority for Asia Pacific. So that was a big step. The team who had prepared the partnership gathering were appointed as the ongoing Good Shepherd Asia Pacific Partnership team for 3 years. All provinces in Asia Pacific contributed funds according to means. 2 link persons were appointed from each province to work with the GSAP team and animate the provinces. And then you and I would report each year to the APC. We were always on edge.
Yes, because it was a very, very challenging time. Each province was at a very different point of their development. As we want to respect, we want to challenge, so it was difficult.
So then there was a workshop for link persons held in Singapore in 2011, and that was also an important event. Susie, website. The website.
We began to develop the Good Shepherd Asia Pacific website, and it was initiated by Asia Pacific Circle. We had 2 years of not being able to get the right person for this task. And then eventually, Pam willingly, without any knowledge of technology or website, said yes to that. And it was really that point that in that website, it was not about religious life, it was about the mission. We had stories of lay partners telling their stories about this mission call. And we had stories of projects and how we could move together.
And speaking of the website, on the tables there are cards with the website address, because on that website also is a comprehensive report on the work of the GSAP team since 2007. You might like to look at it.
And developing partnership for mission means that new pathways need to be opened up for lay people. This increases our capacity to work effectively with women and children. Pam, you said at the workshop for lay persons, co-responsibility in action means more people are thinking about issues, worrying about problems, finding solutions, sharing ideas, participating in decision-making together, and new pathways for the mission then continue to be created.
And I remember you, Susan, you spoke about pathways too at the gathering in 2008. You said, and these are very important principles, The pathways for partnership that will propel us out for mission require direction setting, strategic planning, resource allocation, personnel development, ongoing formation programs, and regular reviews. All through Good Shepherd Asia Pacific, lay mission partners are working with sisters in planning and developing programs, implementing them and evaluating them. Just a few examples.
In some countries, such as Singapore, Malaysia, and Australia, lay mission partners are senior leaders of large programs or agencies. In other places, such as Southwest India, Singapore, and Malaysia, they initiated and coordinated funds, coming together to raise efforts just for our consciousness of the whole direction for the poor. There was in Singapore, Malaysia, they raised more than US 300,000 to assist people in the foundation of Congo.
And organised by the Mission Development Office, 3 mission partners from Australia just recently went to Costa Rica to discuss microfinance programs. And a team of sisters and lay mission partners from Central East India went to Nepal after the earthquake, and some are still there, to assist with the relief effort. There are many other examples. Aren't we happy we walked the journey of partnership for mission together?
Thank you, sisters. That was very interesting. When you were talking, I couldn't help hearing in my ears, not the translator, but Mary Frazier saying, union is our strength. But now we're going to stay in the Asia-Pacific region, and we are going to talk to one of these lay partners who is a leader. And I can't find her.
She's right in front of you.
She's there in front of you.
Oh, there she is. Now, Dr. Cumberland, may I call you Rhonda? Rhonda, sorry? Rhonda, you have special responsibility for the furthering of the mission in the Australia-New Zealand unit. And you are the first ordained. So, would you like to tell us how you came, what motivates you?
Thank you very much, and I would be delighted to talk about my experience. I am the CEO of Good Shepherd Australia and New Zealand. I answered an advertisement in the newspaper some 6 years ago, and here I am today in Angers. My mother still can't believe it. She is back in Melbourne. She is 88. I send her text messages and she follows my every word. This is wonderful for me, and I deeply appreciate this experience. I call co-responsibility leadership for all times, and especially now. Leadership is an evolving story, as Philip Pinto would say. We are learning, changing, and growing. Co-responsibility for mission is alive every day in Good Shepherd Australia and New Zealand. I am one mission partner among many who comes to work each day, not to do a job, but to serve our mission. It has become normal for us in Australia and New Zealand to lead together in co-responsibility. Sisters and mission partners together. We are a province with few sisters in leadership roles. the sisters have delegated important leadership responsibilities. This transition commenced in thought some 10 years ago, so our model of co-responsibility is quite evolved. All work for mission, spirituality, justice, peace, mission formation, services for women and children, finances, properties and sisters' well-being are areas of my work. For the people we support, women and children, we focus on financial inclusion, stopping violence against women, and education for young people. More than one woman is killed every week in Australia by an intimate partner. Co-responsibility is a risk, it always has been, but the bigger risk would be taking co-responsibility away or diluting it. There is no turning back. We are relevant to our present and preparing for our positive future. Co-responsibility means trust in mission partners to take decisions and for mission partners to trust themselves. Together and with equality and respect, we put our mission into action. Together, we put our mission into action. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rhonda. Together, we put our mission into action. We are relative to our present and preparing for our positive future. And now, I'm going to ask my co-presenter, Teresa, to talk to you. Teresa was part of the planning committee for this chapter. That is another first. And so, Teresa, would you like to tell us how it was when you came to Rome to the meeting? It was 2 years now?
3 years.
The first 3 years for the first one, to begin the planning for this chapter.
Yes, I'll be delighted to share. I was very surprised actually to be invited to be on the chapter planning committee. Whilst I thought, what could I as a layperson contribute to the workings of a chapter? I was nonetheless very struck that the CLT was really very, very serious in walking the talk, of including a lay partner in the chapter planning committee to reflect that partnership is very important in the congregation. I still remember the first day when we had the meeting. It was in June 2012. There were 24 of us in the meeting room, of which 22 were Good Shepherd sisters, and there were only 2 lay persons, myself and Jill. And I felt very nervous at that time, and maybe a little bit like a fish out of water, wondering how I could contribute to the whole process. But right from the very start, I felt included, I felt respected, and I felt that whatever little I could say was taken seriously, and it added value to the process. I remember that the discussions were open, they were inclusive, some were very sensitive issues because it related to the congregation, and yet it was freely shared. And I felt this sense of trust in the team, this sense of acceptance that we were all in it together. And sometimes, I also forgot that I was a lay partner and that, I was in the midst of sisters. Because we just concentrated on what was best for the chapter. How could we make an environment that would facilitate the chapter direction statement for the next 6 years? I remember very distinctly the preparation for the chapter theme, Energized by the Spirit, we risk together for mission. And one of the areas that surfaced was, how do we include or how do we look at lay leadership, and whether there would be enough time to do that. And therefore that risking for mission also surfaced, and we thought that the chapter theme would encapsulate a whole host of priorities, including lay leadership. Eventually, I was also asked to be the liaison for lay mission partners who will be attending the ICAs and the chapter. In 2013, in late 2013, we started a small community of mission partners, myself, Melinda, Len Kadrowski, who's not able to be with us today, and Christina. We started to Skype and to prepare ourselves for the chapter. And after the ICAs, when the other lay partners were nominated and selected, the community grew to 10 lay people. And we would come together and reflect and say, what do we bring to the chapter? What has our experience been of mission? How can we contribute in this whole discerning process? What were our experiences at the ICA? If you ask me now, what do I take away from being at the CCPC? I would say a very, very much greater appreciation for Good Shepherd Mission and for all of us who are part of it. I see a future, I see hope, and I'm very, very happy to be part of the mission.
Thank you, Teresa. And now, as you will remember, over the last few months we had ICAs. You remember that?
Yes.
Sure? And it was decided that lay partners would be invited to the different ICAs. And we have two lay partners here who were, Heidi was at the South American ICA and Hubert was at the European Samoa ICA. And I would like you both to tell us what it was like to be at this intercontinental meeting. Heidi, I imagine you will speak in Spanish. Hubert, you're not going to speak in Dutch, are you? But you may speak in French if you're more comfortable. English, fine. So Heidi, would you like to begin? Tell us what it was like.
Bueno, la participación en la ICA para mí ha sido una experiencia muy linda, porque ha sido una experiencia de mirar una congregación internacional. Ahí escuché hermanas de inglés, que hablaban inglés, español. Me encontré con partners que venían desde diferentes lugares, pero lo más importante fue que fue una experiencia de cambio. Porque antes de la ICA yo miraba la misión del buen pastor y encontraba la misión mía en la del buen pastor. Y en la ICA me invitaron a mirar la misión de Dios en el centro y encontrar la misión, la visión, la mirada de las hermanas y mi mirada como partner en una sola misión. Y empezar a trabajar por esa misión. Y nunca más hablar de la misión de las hermanas, sino de nuestra misión del buen pastor. Y ahora invito a todos los partners a hablar de nuestra misión del buen pastor, porque necesitamos cambiar las vidas y ser un mundo más justo, un mundo más inclusivo. Y ese es el reto. Y bueno, ahora estoy aquí, en el capítulo, nuevamente ya desde adentro, para decir a las hermanas. Aquí están Cristina, está Ronda, Melinda, Hubert, Nissan, Teresa, Catherine. Estamos aquí para decirles de que los partners estamos listos. Estamos listos para arriesgarnos juntas, estamos listos para comprometernos juntas y estamos listos para que empecemos a mirar la misión del buen pastor con esos ojos de Dios hacia una sociedad donde las personas sufran menos. Estamos aquí listos para empezar a avanzar.
I'm sorry for my bad voice. Normally it sounds more gentle. Over the past 14 months, I had 3 spiritual journeys. I started in April last year at the provincial chapter for, I think, 18 days. After that, we had the ICA in November, and the ICA was really striking me because of its internationality, because of the openness of the sisters for all the lay partners of the different units that were present. It struck me because of the high quality of services, of missions, of sisters and lay partners, and I was really struck by the unity felt among the people from Europe, from Africa and the Middle East and the Isles. That was really an experience in a lifetime. Thank you very much for that. And I hope that we can join together on this journey. We started now this week here in during the chapter, and even beyond that, because what we start here has to be accomplished at home. Thank you.
Thank you. What we start here has to be continued at home. Now, we've had a wonderful journey around the world, haven't we? But I'm very conscious that we have been talking mostly, not specifically, but mostly about apostolic mission partners. But there are contemplative mission partners. And so I would like to ask, are there any of the contemplatives who would like to stand up for 2 or 3 minutes to tell us about what is happening with the contemplative mission partners? We heard a little about what's happening in South America from Heidi, but is there anywhere else where the sisters would really like to tell us what is happening? Yes, sister.
Thank you for this invitation. At our 2008 meeting, one of the recommendations was that the contemplatives should be encouraged to have contemplative associates. And we have contemplative associates beginning and flourishing around the world. In Peru, for instance, the contemplative associates and the sisters together built a chapel so that the people in the area would have a site to worship. In the province of Mid-North America, we have contemplative associates that are rather unique because their leader, who was a contemplative sister, one of them has gone to God, they've been left alone, but they continue being a source of prayer for the congregation. And they have constitutions, they make commitments. In the other group, there are a group of professional people who have learned contemplative prayer, and they are a source of inspiration to their families. In Italy, we have associates. In Costa Rica, we have associates. In many other parts of the world. And primarily, they are helping us as a prayer presence to further the mission and to be in union with the apostolic ministries that are flourishing. And we're excited about this development. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sister. And this brings us almost to the end of our program this morning. In this little book, which you've all had the opportunity to read, it might have been a different size, but mine is this. The CLT put 3 questions to be considered. What are the questions that we need to ask ourselves today? about Good Shepherd Partnership for Mission. What are the risks? What risks are we willing